there's this really cool idea I've always had in my head about optimism. I forget where I heard it, maybe Tony Robbins or something, but it's this idea that optimistic people will be wrong more often than pessimistic people, but they're more likely to succeed. So you're going to fail more. I think of somebody like Babe Ruth, who was also the strikeout king, but, we remember him as the great Bambino. But I think with that, it kind of dovetails off the idea that it's not just optimism alone. Like you have to have something else, like thick skin. Um, and I feel like your studies have a lot to do with not just optimism. It's also is it grit, resilience?
You're right on this. Yeah, you're right on the center of it. It's not optimism for the sense of optimism, although it could be, because optimism is related to joy and happiness and a sense of belonging and wellness. So in and of itself, there's amazing reasons to have an optimistic lens. There's also a performative aspect to it, which is when the reason that you're talking about is like they'll make more mistakes, but there's deeper levels of success in some studies. And that's because they stay in it longer.
They
So
stay in
they're
the
not
pocket
pulling the
longer.
chute and getting out,
Yep.
right? And they're
Consistency,
not
staying in it.
creating narratives in their mind of why it's not going to work. Let's get out of here. And there's some times when that narrative is so accurate that that is the right thing to do. Okay, so let's
Right.
let's not
Yeah.
be confused, right? But when it's just perception, or it's just information that's not a real threat, but it's a perceived threat, and you have the skill to be optimistic, that's big time. That
Yeah.
is big time. And let's never confuse that naive optimism is really dangerous. Naive optimism is why, one of the reasons, at least, people find themselves in battered relationships, like abusive relationships, is because there's this narrative built on a flimsy, naive optimism that, you know what, it's going to change.
Right.
Right.
It'll be different. When the other person, the abuser, has not done any work, no real work to change. So that would be a naive optimism. And so let's just remind people that if it's not real, it can be dangerous.